Chaos Legion is just about to release, and with that, even if you don't have packs to open, other people will be opening up their packs and putting cards onto the market. So we need to start talking about what kinds of cards should we be buying, and today I'm going to give you 5 different types that I'm going to be looking for. Hello everyone, this is Luke from Luke Plays to Earn, where I help the small investors to keep playing, to keep earning. And today we have some fun, but just wanted to say hello, kamusta ka, que tal, hola, how are you guys doing? And I hope you guys are excited for Chaos Legion releasing on Splinterlands. When this video goes live, we could just be hours away from it being opened up and we can get some packs going, and some individual cards are going to be on the market. So right now, I will say that I'm going to give you guys 5 different types of what cards I'm going to be looking at, what types of cards you could be looking at. But keep in mind, as this pre-sale ends and as people open up packs, that's just 1 million of the packs out of the 15 million that are going to be eventually sold. And maybe not all million packs are even going to be opened. A lot of people might be holding on to the packs to sell at a later date and just sell the packs for more money on Hive Engine. So with that, even though I'm giving you guys 5 types of cards to buy, I do want to give a heads up that this may not even be the best time to buy those individual cards, because more supply on the market, in January and in February, means that some prices of these cards might go down, and they might actually be higher now than they will be in a month or 2 from now. Of course, more players could come into the game in those 2 months, driving prices up. However, it's hard to say though that just more players is going to increase the prices that much to compete with the 14 million more packs to come out on the market to be opened. And so right now, my strategy more so is when these cards come out on the market is to play them by renting them, figure out which ones fit in these five categories the best, and then from there I'll probably be looking to buy more so towards January or February, maybe just a few now that I especially like. So with that being said, these are the 5 types of cards that I'm going to be looking for, and the first one is simply for card power. If you can find cheap card power, it has been hard to find, and we know that right now, playing in silver and above is incredibly important, and it can be hard to get the power. A lot of us have to rent, and the more power you own, the less you're going to have to spend in renting power. Now, we don't know what the league requirements of power will be when they split the modern and wild format. That won't be coming until January. But either way, even if the power requirements for the modern format are lower, the wild format is going to stay where it is right now. So playing in silver is going to be important. So you're going to want to get as much card power as you can. A good way to do this is actually to go to Peak Monsters, click on buy. And what you can do is you can go to this compare list right here. You can go to compare by lowest price. You can compare by best CP to cost ratio right now. With the market dipping down a little bit on some cards, you can see $1 is at the cheapest worth 50 card power. So with Chaos Legion releasing in December and more cards being bought in January and February, I would expect to see the card power cost to maybe even dip down and get better deals than $1 per 50 card power. Who knows what the market will do, but can you imagine paying $1 for 100 card power? That would be $10 for 1,000 card power, where, just a few weeks ago, we were literally at spending $50 to $60 just to get 1,000 card power. So if you have the funds and you haven't already built a silver deck, this is the opportunity for me and people like you to probably find better deals to finally get enough power to at least get us into silver 3. Now, the second type of cards that I'm going to be looking at is what is the meta cards. So think about the meta as what are those top cards that everyone feels like they need to have to win the game. So that could be thinking about, if you're a low level player, what do you need to win in bronze and in silver? Now we also have to think on top of that for the modern format coming out with Chaos Legion and Untamed and some of the reward cards. And then the wild format where all of even the older cards can be played as well. There's going to be 2 different metas as those split, as well as different divisions. You have to think about what are those cards being used at bronze and silver. That's what I'm going to be focusing on more. But that's why I also encourage you to follow, players with bigger decks like a Dwayne Cunningham or a Bulldog who are going to know what the meta is in Gold, Diamond, and in Champion, because even though a lot of people are going to be focusing on Silver at level 1 cards and maybe level 2 cards or 3, there are going to be, players who are trying to max out cards and think about, they're going to want, 400 or 200 copies or whatever it takes based on the card rarity to get the max level copy. Almost 4 different ways of thinking about how the meta will be played out. You got your, silver and bronze meta, you got your kind of gold, diamond, and champion meta, and then you also have the meta of what's going to happen in the modern and in the wild formats. And why does meta matter? Well, because the more wins you get, the more DEC you're going to get, obviously. So, you can even just look at the latest reward cards here, the Legendaries, and you can see Oceanus is twice as much worth a Harklaw or a Bilzka right now because the water deck is so powerful. This card is almost a must-have, or you at least need a way to defeat it because it's that powerful. And Harklaw or Bilzka, yeah, are they good cards? Sure, but having an Oceanus in your deck is meta, especially for bronze and silver. It can just wreck anyone right now in the game. And so you can see having a meta card like this can be worth, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times more than other of the same rarity in a, deck or in a reward card. Now, the third type of card you need to start thinking about is after playing and finding out what kind of those meta overpowered cards are going to be in the Chaos Legion release, what you need to think about then is, okay, how do you counter and defeat that OP card, that meta card? Because that also is going to rise up in price. So think about these new reward cards as they came out in September with the Venari Wastemith and Jin Oceanus. How powerful that made the water deck in bronze and silver. Well, all of a sudden now you have cards that can either magic reflect or use void or defeat these powerful magic cards also rise up in price because people want to start countering it as well. So let's think about Torhilo as an example as a counter to Oceanus and to Wavesmith. Use Bordis, use Torhilo, and you can easily now take down those cards. So it's been about 3 months since these reward cards of Oceanus, Wavesmith, that whole series that's come out. And of course, card prices have pumped here and there anyways, but just look at this, almost 3 months ago when these cards came out, here Torhilo is at, 10, 12 bucks. And, as people start seeing, okay, Oceanus, Wavesmith, those are really powerful, those prices start pumping, and all of a sudden, now you see, okay, more people are using Torhilo to counter this, and all of a sudden it climbs and climbs and climbs because people are wanting this card to finally counter what the meta is at bronze and silver, which was magic damage. And so this card has now pumped somewhere in $30 to $40. So as soon as you find out what the meta is, what those OP cards, what those cards people keep using over and over, even if it's a card that maybe isn't amazing by itself, if it is a card that now can counter what is really powerful, then that card price is potentially going to pump in price as well. The fourth type of card I'm going to be looking at is simply what can I hold on to long term for it to appreciate. So even if it's a card, maybe I buy up multiple copies of it just because I think this is a card that has a lot of room to grow, while some of the other cards maybe have pumped already. And you can hear Dwayne talk about this in our combined video the other day, where he's just talking about buying up a ton of these reward cards at 10, 15, 20 cents because of the potential growth that they may be $1, $2, $5, $10 down the road. And then you have essentially 10x, 20x, or 100x your money just by buying some of those cards and holding on to them long term. For example, Pelacor Conjurer right now, 2 mana card, 4 health, 3 speed, flying is 13 cents, but you go to Kelp Initiate because the water meta is so powerful right now. Same kind of card, really cheap, 2 mana, 5 health, 5 speed, is up around $13.29 now. So if it's a card that maybe I already have or I don't even really use in my deck, but maybe I think this thing is going to have some long-term gains, those cards I might be buying up multiples of, even if I don't need it right now in the short term, just because it's a long-term investment. And lastly, the fifth type of card I'm going to be looking for as Chaos Legion releases and in the following months when more packs are open and more supplies on the market is simply those cheap cards that nobody else wants. And the reason is because this game is going to change. even though this Chaos Legion is huge and we're gonna have to wait longer for the next reward card set or the next pack set and Rift Watchers and all of that, even though we might be waiting some time, those things will come out and it will continue to change the meta of the game and what the counter meta is. Again, thinking of Torhilo, it was a card that probably was not valued super high until these new cards came out, and then all of a sudden the price of it skyrocketed. And so think about these cheap cards that we can find that may not have great gameplay value now, but maybe they introduce new cards that card all of a sudden becomes a counter to. Or maybe, one day they're gonna, a year from now, they're gonna make another new giant card pack release like Chaos Legion, and that's probably gonna push Untamed out of the modern format and into the wild format. So that's gonna change the entire modern, meta. And so you never know when a card is going to be more useful than it is now. And if you can get it cheap, then one day it might have just a huge game changing potential that all of a sudden it just spikes out of nowhere. So even if it's a card that doesn't seem, it's kind of boring, no one really wants it, it's cheap, it's just getting flooded on the market, well, one day it might be more important. And as the supply shrinks because people are combining these cards and leveling them out, those cards will never be minted again. And so sometimes just having a few of those cards, betting on something changing in the future might be worth a while, and you get some hopefully cheap card power as well, as in my first point. So those are the 5 types of cards I'm going to be looking at. And again, I'll probably be renting a lot in December and then choosing more cards to buy in January and February. I may pick up a couple here and there in December, just in case I'm worried. If I find a really good meta card that I'm worried about spiking, maybe I'll pick a couple of those up. But for now, I'll probably just be looking more towards January and February, putting more money in then. But I'd love to hear your guys' strategy and what types of cards that you are looking at. So put in the comments below. I'm excited for the launch, and I'll see what we get with the small amount of packs that we have, and maybe pick up some other cards as well. So see you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and talk to you guys in the comments. Peace out.